Welcome to The Other Dimension with the team, Damon Penny, Ben Winfield, and Louisa Brown. We guide you through the supernatural, the occult, and the unexplained, answering questions that will make you question your grip of reality, with special guests guiding you through everything from demons to divination, cryptids to crystals, religion to skeptics. We explore in depth the true meaning of the unexplained. So strap in, kick back, and enjoy as we enter the other dimension.
Hello everybody, welcome along. It's the Other Dimension Show. It's your Friday night paranormal fix, and I'm your host, Danny, along with the Paranormal Power couple. We've got Ben and Lou, and we're joined by special guests tonight. We're joined by Claire, and I know what, I feel really bad because I have no idea what your name is.
Dave,
So
well,
we're joined by Peter Hobbit.
you ask Ben, he will say Twitch.
Oh, okay.
But
I never lived that down.
No. Yeah. Did you catch that, Damon?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I'm a bad host. I don't look into these things. I don't get much time, so it's like it's all done on the whim. This is what people don't realize. I get people message me like, "Oh, we love your show. You must take ages to plan." Like it's literally done on a whim every week. I'm not gonna lie. We're just like, yeah, let's go for it. See what happens.
It works, though, doesn't it?
It does. It does. It does. Well, thank you for coming, ladies.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Sorry,
Now-
for those guys that know, the puppy is tired. He's growing. He's now
confused. You don't know where he wants to go. Pop him down. Right. Oh, you just.
We've got a
Dogs are the worst.
right. Let's do a quick shout out. Roll call the chat. Shouts out to Jenny Church, out to Emmy Rooley, out to Nico, out to Natasha, out to Annette. Big shouts out to Jeanette, out to Jenny.
Yeah, wow. Jenny. Yo, Jenny.
Chat room's buzzing.
Hello, welcome everyone.
A little birdie tells me that you guys were all at an event last week.
Nah.
Great.
Can't remember. I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't put me on the spot, please.
No, yeah, we were. It was absolutely brilliant. It was an awesome weekend.
Yeah. Well, what was it? What was it? Like a ghost hunting sort of thing where Ben sort of brought some friends to play.
Why do I always get accused of stuff?
Yeah, it was a paranormal weekend, but it was very laid back, which was really nice. So they had like talks on the Saturday. We got there on Friday about 7, and everybody sort of settled down and stuff. And then we did like lots of different methods. Like they showed us like 4 different methods of like doing techniques and for paranormal investigating. And then on the Saturday we had the talks, and Saturday night was another investigation. However, Kirsty and I decided I was going to sit in the garden and get pissed and be silly the whole night. But the thing is, like I said to Kirsty, when it's your job and you do it so much, actually, to someone to say to you, you don't have to investigate, you can just chill out. It's like, do you know what? I'm just going to chill out.
Yeah, it does get to a point where something becomes more than a hobby; it becomes a job. And when it becomes a job, you sort of go, "Oh, for God's sake, I'll go work again." Whether you love it or not, I bet footballers do the same thing.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny because I said that to someone the other day. It's like a professional footballer having a weekend off, and like someone asking him to go and play football, and it'll be like, "Actually, no, I'm just going to sit in the pub and get drunk." So, yeah, yeah. But I will say a big shout out to Wednesbury Paranormal for organising it and hosting it, and just putting on an absolutely epic weekend. Because it wasn't just all about paranormal; it was about us all getting together. And the connections that were made, and there was a lot of healing that went on over the weekend too. So it was across the board a really, really awesome weekend.
Yeah.
There was and the people there as well. Everyone that we met, I mean, made so many like friends, didn't we? Like genuinely, like met some really, really amazing people.
And we laughed so that your face hurts and your stomach muscles
and
just tighten.
The little gland in my throat was so
sore throat from laughing.
I couldn't swallow for 2 days. I'd lost my voice and couldn't swallow. My husband was like, doesn't know whether to be happy or not.
Oh.
It's before the watershed, guys. It's before the watershed.
Yeah.
Only Claire though could do something like that.
Yeah. For those of you who are joining us, Wednesbury Paranormal are in partnership with us and Stoke, so please go check them out. They do events at the museum as well. Just to throw that in there.
I'm looking to come down and do an event for my birthday in July, because they gave me some time off work, so I'm thinking about doing some sort of event. But something to do with break dancing and maybe some cooking or something like that. I don't know, something.
Break my finger, break my wrist, break my toe.
You nearly broke your nose at the weekend.
I nearly broke my nose on Friday night. Yeah, at Wood Hope.
Oh God. It's normally Ben that ends up with the injuries when he goes out investigating.
I was, and everyone will vouch for this, I was pleasantly quiet through the event, especially Saturday night. I didn't cause any problems whatsoever.
Lou's like, yeah, right.
I'm just fairly quiet.
I didn't. Every person that was there will vouch for how quiet I was. I'll guarantee for anything else that happened, but I was quiet.
I was going to say, what about your boys?
I can neither confirm nor deny any such allegations brought up against me.
Politics answer.
People may or may not have had a one-off lifetime changing experience.
Oh, dearie me. So, have you guys got anything else planned coming up this year that you want to share on the show?
Loads.
Hit us with it. Go for it.
We've got Shrewsbury Prison on the 8th of July. We've got a couple of smaller local events throughout the year. We've got Jamaica in October. Just trying to put another retreat together. Got loads of workshops going on. Kirsty does a regular drum circles and sound baths in Milton Keynes. So yeah, we've just got loads going on really. Trying to get the balance right. But when I first decided to just bang out the events and stuff and go public with the events as a business, I kind of put myself under a lot of pressure by booking a lot of big venues. I think I had like Dudley Castle, the Ram, and another big one in like the space of like 4 months. Of course, as well as it being a huge amount of money that you've got to outlay, you've got to then obviously fill those spaces, and you get a little bit twitchy because you're thinking, I'm not going to be able to cover the cost here. So what I've done is now is I put like maybe 1 or 2 big ones in for the year, and then just put smaller local ones in.
Okay.
So it takes the pressure off a little bit.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. That's how we used to do it when I first investigated my team, because the pressure that you're under to sort of get the money up to pay for the venues that are the big venues is crazy, because you have to sell tickets to cover it. And we've spoke about this on the show before, how paranormal like locations are like near enough tripled in price over the past 6 years. It's been mental.
It's a shame, because obviously you've got to then pass that cost on, and I always think, well, I don't want to be asking people ridiculous amounts of money, because otherwise you're just going to completely lose your client base. So it's really hard to get the balance. So yeah, but look at some of the venues. I think back in 2019 were quoting me £500. They're now like 950, a grand.
Yeah.
It's stupid, isn't it?
Question from Kate said, hold up, so these lovely ladies are paranormal investigators. Are they full-time, and do they have a channel?
We're not very good on, I'm not very technical savvy. I don't get me wrong, I kind of know a little bit, but I'm really trying to get our social media started this year. We do have a YouTube channel, but it's practically redundant. Most of our stuff goes on Facebook. We're quite old school. I'm really trying to get more into the Instagram and the TikTok. But we're National Paranormal Investigators, so you can find us on Facebook. We're just about getting our website up and running as well. So we're a bit late to the party with all that stuff, to be fair.
We'll link you in onto our page.
Yeah, of course we will. Of course. The way things are moving nowadays is so much different to how it was back in the day. Like, there's so many different outlays you can use. We just sort of stick to Facebook and YouTube, and it's like, I'm not down with the kids enough to be able to make TikTok videos. I can't talk for seconds. I've got too much to say. It's going to take me more than 20 seconds, so that's no good. And Instagram, I don't like photos, so I don't bother with that. So I just...
You did do one TikTok, didn't you? But it was impressive how much information you tried to ram into one TikTok video.
Yeah.
You know what, right? It was 30-second video. It took me 4 weeks to make it because I was...
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, right, I want to put that. No, I want to take that. And I want to put that in. It took me 4 weeks to make a 30-second video.
I used to make karaoke videos in less time than that when I was like 19. I used to work for a studio. We used to bang out karaoke videos in like 24 hours. But actually, that's one thing I wanted to mention, actually. Talking about videos. So next week, I'm going down to Eastbourne and I'm putting my meditation album together at last. And that's something that's been in the pipeline for such a long time because I do workshops with people in Development Circle. So people like to do the meditation. So I'm actually going to be able to get an album together that people can download. It'll be so cool. And then I'm going to edit. We're editing a production together as well on the when we went up to Hickleton Hall in January. Really fortunate. You know, they always say it's not what you know, it's who you know. So very fortunate to have an associate who owns Hickleton Hall in Doncaster. Ben and Lou, you came up, didn't you? So we're finally going to get that edited together next week. Put that out there as well, hopefully. So yeah. So sorry, I interrupted there, but I just wanted to say that because
That's cool. That's cool. Like, there's not many paranormal investigators out there that turn around and go, "Yeah, I've got an album you can download." Paranormal rock star, rock on, and all that.
We'll put a link on here for you as well. A few other ones. So we've got Kate again, and they met Ben and Lou at the weekend.
I haven't known them for a while.
Yeah, we've met.
Met you. Was it Harlington? I first met you, Ben, when we invited you down to Harlington for the Halloween weekender.
Was it not Hinkley?
Or was it Hinkley?
It was Hinkley. Our first ever talk we did was for you guys.
Yeah, so we actually met at Hinkley, and that was about a couple of years now.
It's got to be
2 years. Because I met you through, obviously, doing a live with Damon. What was that, about 3 years ago, Damon? Was that through lockdown, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was our Wednesday show.
Yeah. And then I kept harassing Ben, asking him loads of questions about stuff.
Nothing's changed in 3 years.
No. The problem is you went anytime. I'm like, right, anytime. Blah, 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 blah.
We've got Justin. You're right, Justin. I hope you've recovered from me. Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy how much prices are up nowadays. It's ridiculous. It's become like a full-fledged way of making money now instead of actual like based on the science and actually investigating and doing what you're there to do. It's more about making money and ticket sales. It's become like the clubbing scene, isn't it, really?
I think that there is, I do have a little bit of understanding though, because example being, where were we? Oh, where did we go? When we went to Shepton Mallet Prison, some of the rooms have been cordoned off and you weren't allowed to go in there because people have been stealing stuff, they've been breaking stuff. So I can understand there's an element of that, but if it's just an abandoned building, it's just, you know, bricks and mortar with nothing in it. The museums I can understand, you know what I mean? But places like that, it's just ridiculously expensive. It really is.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do agree. It's just, I want to know the worst part of that for me. I can't work out when it turned from something that was something you went out and do. And back in the day, it was cost you 20, 25 quid for a ticket to go somewhere. Yeah. And now you look at the cheapest 80, 90 quid. When did it become like this massive business now? It's just, I don't know. I just don't agree with it personally. But
it's difficult because obviously, because running the events is a big part of my business. You know, I'm doing at least one, maybe two a month. So that's quite, I wouldn't say it's a considerable amount of income. It's not. I don't, every paranormal investigator or anyone that runs paranormal events will tell you there's no money in it, because by the time you put your travel into it, if you're paying people to help you, or you're putting people up in a hotel or anything like that, and you've paid your venue, paid your insurance, you've paid for all the refreshments and everything that you've got to get, you're literally might be about 40 quid, 40, maybe even £100. But then you've got to take into account that you're working that night and you've been working, organising the event, advertising the event. It's like, when you turn up to paranormal investigation, you do the evening, that's not all that's happened. That person that's organised it has had to chase people for money and sort all. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So people say to me, oh, you're a lot cheaper than everybody else. Yeah, because I don't want to price it out the market so people can't afford to come out with us. And where there'll be a venue, so we've got Shrewsbury coming up, you can get 60 people in there, but we're maxing it at 40 guests. I'm doing it with Powers Paranormal. It's like, right, I'll take 20 guests, you take 20 guests, and that'll be it. So you put 60 people in there, it's going to ruin it for the guests that are paying.
Yeah, it's too many people, isn't
it? Yeah. And that's how you make your money, by filling it.
Yeah. It's just crazy. It is just crazy. Question from Kate, I think we got. So she said, so what's their theory about the afterlife, skeptics and believers?
So my beliefs about the afterlife, I believe it exists. I mean, I had thoughts about this. I don't know when I first started considering it. But I've always, I think, had a belief that there's something more. I've had conversations before with people about sort of growing up in a religious, not overly religious, but I was born into Church of England. Yeah. And I sort of very quickly into my teens started questioning about religion and such like. It's just, for me, it's just an innate inner belief. It's a feeling. It's a knowing. It's a knowing without knowing. So, and that's, I guess, what faith is. But in terms of skeptics, across the board, not just on the afterlife, but any sort of spiritual work and stuff, I'm a big advocate for skepticism, because without questioning, you don't inquire, you don't look for answers,
you don't learn.
So if you don't question, what else are you going to, what is there to prompt you to try and research or to ask questions, and be inquisitive and curious?
Yeah, it makes sense when you look at it that way. At the end of the day, skepticism is healthy, but to a certain degree. I think people can take skepticism and take it to an extreme.
Yeah.
And destroys.
Yeah, like the believer, though. The believer can take it to the extreme, can't they?
Either polarity isn't balanced, is it? So, a healthy dose of skepticism, which we have on our investigations, simply because we debunk every single minute thing that we could possibly think of to explain, why we felt something, heard something, and such like. So yeah, that's my answer. Did you want to add anything on to that?
Yeah, so I'm a medium, and I've been a medium for professional medium. I've come up 8 years. Always known spirit to be in my life. My sort of views on the afterlife is I believe that we're all energy. We come from a source. We go back to a source. And we can regenerate and live other lives and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, we can all have our views and our opinions. No one's right, no one's wrong, because none of us can say exactly what's going on. That's why I get really frustrated with people. They go, oh, it doesn't exist. Well, how do you know? I've never seen anything. Yeah, but you can't see a smell and you can't see a sound. It exists.
Yeah. If they're describing something in that way where it's a sound or a touch or seeing, all it is electrical currents to the brain. It's just what our brain perceives something to be. So in that case, sort of turn things back around on themselves, because if you actually look at it in that sense, it's what we interpret it to be. So, and like Stephen Hawking said, you can't destroy energy; it can only be transformed into something.
Albert Einstein said the same thing.
Yeah. It's what you're saying there about the lens that you look through. So, I've got a therapeutic background, and I'm also trained in sound therapy. So I'm sort of on the energy side of things, very much about the resonance and resistance. And that just applies to energy in itself. and then I kind of fit that into the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual element across the board. Because we're having a human existence, we're spiritual, energetic beings, and like you say, energy is just everywhere. It's what makes up the universe. So in terms of the lens and all the different levels of consciousness, and a favourite bit that I kept on saying on Saturday for Ben are the dimensions. It's endless, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a lot.
I have to apologise after the weekend. Every time she shouted the other dimension, I went, "Hey."
But you know what? You probably wouldn't have seen my post I put up yesterday, but I had a really weird experience on Thursday. Kirsty and I went to go and look at a venue.
You spell my name right, Justin.
Oh, did you see my comment? I think Dennis said, "Claire, what are you doing here?" You know, when I was going on that thing. What's that called?
I can't remember.
Because he's got a photograph of me sat with it like that. And I'm like, is it called a thwacker or something?
I can't remember.
Oh.
It's the same with, I do know it and I can't recall the name of it, but it's an instrument. It's a bit like as kids used to have the little frog.
Or a fish.
And the little stick, and used to rub it across
the ridges, yeah.
The ridges.
So there's a photograph of me that Dennis took, and I'm sat with it in my hand. It looks really dodgy. Anyway, as I was saying, we was at a place called Toft Manor in Sharnbrook in Bedfordshire on Wednesday, and it's actually been gridded. It's got like a water labyrinth. It's got an underground labyrinth. There's crystals everywhere.
Absolutely amazing.
It is absolutely amazing. And when we sat down, the woman had gone off to get something, and you sort of said to me, "Dear, I can really feel the energy in here. It's really amazing."
It was quite oppressive in some respects. When I say oppressive, I don't mean the heavy oppressive that I was picking up. It was more, I just felt a lot of protection for the building.
And I said to Kirsty, I said, it's a little bit too intense for me. I said, it's a little bit much. It feels, I said, I can't explain it. And in my head, the only way I could explain it was like I was being pulled. So like a part of me was being pulled into the ground, a part of me was being pulled up. It was awful. Like my crown was being pulled. So I said to you, didn't I? The only place I've ever felt this before is in that geometric shop in Glastonbury. And I actually had to walk out the shop because it just got too intense.
Yeah.
So when the woman come back in and I said, we were just discussing the energy in the shop. I said, and I just said to Kirsty, the only time I've ever felt this energy like this is that there's a shop in Glastonbury. She went, the geometric shop. I went, yeah. She went, we've got loads of their stuff upstairs. I was like, what? And that's the only time I've ever come in contact with these items is since then. That was last June, wasn't it? So I'm not a skeptic, but I do still question things because I need to keep me grounded, and it stops the ego from going too crazy. But that for me was, I don't know, it just kind of sealed it for me that my energy recognized that those things were upstairs. That was just mad, wasn't it?
No, that makes it, it makes sense. A lot of mediums, when we interview mediums on the show, they talk about being able to recognize certain energies. They have that come across that sort of vibrate in a certain frequency, and they're able to read their energies a lot better. Like for instance, certain mediums are more attracted to the darker side, and some towards the lighter side. I mean, I think it's like you said, we talk about lens and perception. It's how you perceive something, how you want to read something. And I think that's what it all comes down to.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ben will know. I mean, from a very young age, and also yourself, Damon, I know we had conversations before, that I've always respected the dark side of things. It's like obviously I have a different view of demons now from the discussions that we've had, but I've never ever been afraid of demons. I've never felt that they were evil or harmful, or I ever had to be afraid of them. So like I said on Saturday, spiritually, I kind of bat for both sides. So I work with the light and I work for the dark. So I have that really good balance of it. So yeah, that's how I work. That's how I roll, man. That's how I roll. That's how I roll.
I have to say, still the award for, I hope Justin's still on, but the award for blowing someone out of the water was Justin.
What happened?
When he turned around with a smile on his face and went, "Oh, do you believe in demons?" I went, "No." And he just went, "What?" And his face just fell apart. He just completely fell apart, bless him.
Oh, that's so cool. But I've got my own feral now, Damon.
Have you really?
Well, it's not mine, doesn't belong to me, but yeah, I've got a feral, haven't I, Ben? Hello.
Yeah.
Giving him a name.
I get it all the time from him. He's like, oh, there's someone new there. And I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. Yeah. It gets to a point now, I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever, Ben. Yeah, all right, mate.
But the weird thing is since I've given him his name, I've not seen it so much now. So maybe he doesn't like his name.
I don't think it's like his name is because you're aware of him now. He's not going to be as present. You know what I mean? It's like when you first get a Christmas present that you want to play with for the first 2 weeks, and after that, a little bit less. You know what I mean? I think that's what it is. It's
so
like
I'm the Christmas present, really, aren't
I? It's all and stuff. It's like a lot of stuff with the darker side as well that people don't realise it does take a lot longer to understand than the lighter stuff. I'm not saying it's not any more or less complex,
no.
But it just takes that little bit more, like I say, maturity to understand the darker side.
Yeah, well, we're always saying on this show, aren't we? The problem with the darker side of stuff is it's always been dominated by the church, by Hollywood.
Hollywood, yeah.
Always portrays it as this. There's got to be this, got to be that. But when you've got historical evidence of it being something else,
yeah,
it completely shatters that image, and that's what me and Lou try our best at doing. Well, all of us try our best at doing, shattering that image.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah, it's what we started the show for, is to ask them questions and get people to understand that the normies, what they tell you to believe is that, like I said, lens perception. It's how you want to see it. You know, a lot of people look at demons through the sense of what they're taught by the Catholic Church or the Christian. But if you look at history itself, which is more reliable than a book that was written by a load of sheep farmers that were high as a kite 800 years after the events happened. If you actually look at history itself, there's a lot more to it than what we've been told.
Yeah, a lot of stuff we won't know as well.
Yeah. I mean, we're planning on doing a show on something called Tartaria, which, like, a whole civilization was lost in history that no one's ever heard about. They just unearthed a load of evidence about it. So it's good.
I've heard that. I've heard that name.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah. It's popping up a bit lately. It's been popping off. People have been the Tartarians and the Khazarians, the war between them. The Tartarians were Mongolian, and then there's a lot to go over. We are going to do a show on it. But it's like I said, it's perception. It's just part of history that was sort of taken out of history. So you don't know what you're being fed from the stuff before. This is why I say to people, it's better off making your own mind up, actually reading the information and sort of your own mind up.
And also trusting your own intuition.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Even if you don't have all the answers, your intuition is going to serve you right if you hear something and you kind of think, that there's something about that doesn't sit right with me. So
I think the good thing, though, I think we are coming to a point now, as with a lot of things, people are becoming a lot more open, a lot more understanding about things, and not so judgmental and fixated and blinkered. So, like with religion, less and less people are going to the church now because more people are realizing that the problems that it's caused, and having that, you can't do this, you can't do that, you must do this, you must do that. We're not so much following that kind of that regimented lifestyle anymore, which is nice because then more people are now becoming open to spiritualism and occultism.
Yeah, it's getting more and more interesting. I think in the next couple of years there'll be a lot more people coming over to this sort of side.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I can't work out how many people I've done workshops with, but I would say we must, the workshops I've got in this year, we must be coming up to about 800 people now. It must be. Like that I've been showing people, or working with people on their spiritual development, and it's just understanding that you're more than skin and bones. There's more to life than this. There's this, there's layers, and blah 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 blah. And once people have that beginner's workshop, they will all say, oh my god, I feel so much better afterwards. Everything just kind of makes more sense, and my life has changed, because it's almost like the expectations that you put yourself under as a human being, and then realizing that actually I'm more than just a human being. I am an energy, and I need this. I can eat healthily, I can go to the gym and look after my physical body, but actually what am I doing to look after my spiritual being? So with what we do with the workshops, that teaches people how to nourish that part. So it's good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I batter myself at the gym 6 times a week, and spiritually, I just sleep. So it's a deep form of meditation that people haven't come across. Sleeping is fantastic.
But then the gym is a form of meditation. For me, it's a form of meditation because I just literally, I go in there, headphones in, I'm in the zone. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. I'm not going to smile at you because I'm in the zone.
Claire, that's gym, not gin. Just to give you that.
JINN or GIN or BER.
When you were saying about the fact that the people are increasing that are going to these meditation workshops, because I was reading, I wasn't reading, I was listening to a podcast a couple of weeks ago about entering into the age of Aquarius. So
Age of Aquarius.
Oh, okay.
So this is the age of enlightenment. It's where humans start to question their abilities within themselves. And it's all that stars and the zodiac and how it lines up. Yeah, I'm not a massive believer in the whole zodiac, but I do believe in the sense of there's a really famous saying that people come across where they say millionaires study the stocks, billionaires study the stars. And I believe in that. So I do believe that we are entering into age of Aquarius. You can see it just on statistics, the fact that, like you said, less people are believing in this regimental religions that are out, these Abrahamic religions where they've got to do this, do this, and do this, and be a good person and not do this. But people are sort of opening up and experiencing spiritual within themselves and actually developing their own sort of sense of religion.
Yeah, and I think lockdown played a major part of that, because I think, as you know, like anyone that is sensitive to energies, like we all are, but some of us are more sensitive than others. Although a lot of people were really happy because they were getting to spend time in the garden. The first lockdown was great. You know, the sun was out. It was great. But the winter one was awful. And I think 85% of people's mental health deteriorated. And I think being at home with people who may be suffering from mental health problems or just low in energy themselves, when you're in that environment with them 24/7, I think you just realize actually there's something going on. The whole energy everywhere was just horrendous. And I think people have come out of that thinking, I need to feel good again. I need to feel better again. What can I do? You know, work isn't hitting it. Going for a walk isn't hitting it anymore. What else is there? And people are just starting to explore different ways of getting that hit, I suppose. And it is a bit like a hit, isn't it? It raises the endorphins.
But I also think as well that there has been a shift in the way people, I think people are looking into things deeper and feeling things deeper. So like I say, before the pandemic, you could say that people we were all sort of quite conditioned into, you know, a routine of life as we know it. So when something like that happens and completely blows it out the water, when you sort of come back and you're trying to kind of regroup, not just on an individual basis, but back into connecting with people, and the fear factor that was taking place. I mean, when we're talking on an energy level, you know, energetically, that level of fear that was global, you know, you the effect of that on people's mental health is dire. So coming out of that time, people are seeking out more methods and different alternative, you know, the holistic and alternative field is really kind of taking off, and things on the sound therapy side of things, I can talk on that side of it. I trained back in 2018 and I qualified just before the pandemic hit, which was a bit of a bugger for me. But it was although it's been going for eons, I mean, sound itself, sound healing, it goes down to the dawn of man. But in terms of it being known in the social element, it's still kind of getting its voice out there at the minute. I will talk to people and they say, well, what is a sound bath? So unless people have been exposed to the holistic scene, it's still very much unknown. But once people do discover it, it opens their eyes, and it is almost a kind of a light bulb moment or an amazement of what it actually does. But it's natural. It's just energy, as we are.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's been around. It's never forefront. I mean, you look at the Tibetan monks that used to be able to use their secondary vocal cords to be able to produce a different frequency. That was a form of sound meditation, wasn't it? And therapy. So it's just never been sort of forefront. And like you said, when people with the whole fear of lockdown and the fear of COVID and what it caused, people are trying to experiment and trying to get that feeling back that they had before. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. And I think, it's the first time I've come across sound therapy, but when you've actually saying it, I don't know what a sound bath is. It sounds awesome. As I really would love to give it a go. I'm not gonna lie. It sounds really good.
They are lovely. They are. It's funny because the first time I ever did one, it wasn't with Kirsty. It was years ago. I did a retreat, and a lady come along and did a sound bath, and I didn't know what to expect. Didn't really know anything about it. And the beginning of it was fine, but when she started playing the gong, it started to make me feel quite sick, and I had to get out and leave. And then Kirsty explained to me, it was resistance for me because at the time, that sound wave, that frequency, that vibration, it wasn't connecting with them. I was resisting it or something. I don't know.
No, the way. Okay. So with the resonance and resistance, from an energetic point of view, obviously we're energy, and we're also, I think, what is it? It used to be 80%. I think they're saying now that we're 85, 90% water.
90% now.
And sound actually travels more fluidly in water. But how the sound works with the frequencies and vibration, it works on a cellular level with the body.
Yeah.
So when you've got a certain frequency, we've obviously got our own unique frequency ourselves, and we vibrate on a unique level, a bit like, our own fingerprints.
Yep.
So when the sound hits a frequency within the body where there's a block or there's a need for healing, it is going to cause some resistance. A little bit like if anybody's had talking therapy, counselling, that sort of thing, and somebody says something, or even just having a chat down the pub and you have a different opinion, and if you don't agree with that, then there is going to be some resistance there, and you'll often see it with body language or such like. But in terms of the sound, when you're feeling uneasy, you can have lots of physical symptoms, you can have visions, you can have a lot of emotions. So a lot of people will feel quite emotional. The instruments are really powerful. So the Himalayan bowls work on a soft vibration, but I have a very powerful Chinese sun gong, which really gets underneath and brings up the emotion in people and clears it through. But that's sort of the resonance and resistance.
But we all use sound every day, don't we? I mean, I have my gym playlist because it's the one that gets me pumped, and I've got my one that I just need to just chill. We all use sound for different things all the time.
Of course, and sound has that sort of way of unlocking memories, soul memories as well. There is links,
absolutely, that
unlocking soul memories to certain sounds and certain frequencies that vibrate. Are able to your previous lives and your soul memories in your previous lives. That's been documented throughout history as well.
Well, they say that sound, music and sound is the only thing that actually uses every single part of the brain. And that's why sound therapy in particular, on a research basis, is good for people with Alzheimer's and dementia, because it does actually help them tap in to their memories.
Yeah. I mean, Ben, you have done a lot of research into frequencies and things like that. I mean, what's your take on the whole sound therapy thing? Like, do you think that it scientifically, let's look at it from a scientific point of view, because that's where you sort of come in. Do you think it would be possible and it would work through scientifically?
Scientifically, we all know this because you have, the biggest example of sound therapy in the scientific world is ultrasound.
Mm-hmm.
We know that sound can penetrate the body, it can help everything else. But as Titch was just saying, I nearly did it. The vibrations are known to have effects massively on bodies. For example, if you, as I've always said on the show, and I always use an example for everyone else, take a quartz crystal, for example. You pick it up, but it is neither a solid, liquid, or gas because it is a vibrating crystal. So it's not physically stable because of the vibrations. Certain sound vibrations up to certain levels can disrupt it and even crack the actual crystal itself.
I've had quite a few crystals crack in my room.
Because technically crystals aren't actually solid. They just vibrate to a certain frequency that allows them to appear solid.
Yeah, no, yeah. That's what we spoke about. Just a couple of quick ones. Nico says, I think the openness is also generational. I get the feeling that people born in the 90s are more open to the occultism.
Yeah.
I suppose that's got something to do with the fact that the TV shows are on that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I agree with that. United in Paranormal says, as an ex-DJ, I always say music is the gateway to the soul. I can lift you up and pull you down depending on what you're doing, which is true.
Yeah.
There's certain songs you hear that just take you back to places where you were happy or you were upset, and you know, you. How many times have we listened to a song and go, I want this one played at my funeral? 100%.
Yeah, or like you there's a song that you connect with someone that's passed, and it can take you years and years and years before you can listen to that without crying.
Yeah,
because it's the emotion. It's like a smell. Smells do the same.
Yeah,
you know, the scent of somebody or an aftershave or something like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's sound and smell is like, don't they say it's like makes up like 47% of most paranormal sightings that happen. You know, it's not all just sights and sees. It's more of the other senses, and people don't realise that. And we spoke about it so many times. You go into an investigation with all these scientific gadgets and that. They're great for corroborating evidence, but nothing beats the human body.
They're very gimmicky. They're good for like gimmick.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, we're talking about sound and smell being really like significant and stuff. And that's what I was saying earlier on. Like you know, people say don't believe in spirit because they can't see it. Yet sound and smell, you can't see them either, but they are so powerful.
I actually had a conversation today in the office, and it was two colleagues talking to each other about whether they believed in the paranormal, because they know that I'm involved with all of this stuff. And one was saying to the other, do you believe? And the other one said, well, I haven't seen one, so no. And I was kind of like, a lot of people, most people in the paranormal field, you know, very rarely see. So if you just want to go on the visual factor, then you'd have quite a lot of people not believing in it. But yeah, we're conditioned on the vision.
I always work off an old Native American thing that I got told by a friend of mine out in Dawson. That the Native American thing is, you can't see the wind, but you can always see the effects.
Yeah.
No one has ever, in the entirety of the world, ever seen the wind. They just see the effects that it causes. And that's the same thing with sound. Same thing with spirits.
Yeah.
Not necessarily going to see them, but you will see the effects.
See, I used to see spirit when I was a kid. I used to see spirit, but I don't see them in front of me anymore. It's just all through the third eye, so I can tell you what the spirit looks like. I'm not looking at them in front of me. It's here. So whether that's my energy is connecting with their energy and it's creating a solid impression of them in my mind, or whether I'm just psychically connecting with it, I don't know. I don't know how that works. But whereas I used to question it a lot, I don't question it anymore. I just go with it. I'm like, well, that's what they're showing me. That's what I'm going to give, and I trust that you know that's what that will make sense. So I think
I can explain that, but we'll end up in quantum mechanics again, and everyone.
I don't. So
Let's go for it. Go for it, Ben.
No, I can just about do 3-syllable words. Just don't get too complicated with me. Go for it. No. We'll do that another day.
Little question for you here, Ben. Cody Howell says, key elements in creating a sigil for something, where to get started learning in this area? I tell you a good place to start, actually, Cody. The Sunday show.
I've never actually done a show on how to create sigils properly.
But you've shown sigils on that show.
I've shown sigils on that show. However, I think, and this is for those that have been watching this show for a long time ago and understand that this is a rarity. Next Sunday, I will do a show on sigils and how they're created and the history behind it. Okay.
Sounds cool.
So I know lots of people have been asking. So yeah.
Massive, aren't they?
My conspiracy shows this week, but I got like everyone's asked me to do the first show on Lady Diana, and like I've literally like got 14 A4 pages of information on like the conspiracies that are around what happened with her, and I've got to condense it down into an hour show. So I've spent all week like condensing it down. So I'm definitely going to do that next week. So,
complicated line to walk with that one, isn't it? Because there's so much.
Yeah, but the way I'm doing it is I'm taking the stuff off the internet, so it's readily available. It's not my, you know.
Just remember the legal terminology that we have for the show now.
We need a lawyer.
Big shout out to Scarlet Witch. Hope she's very good.
Big shout out to Scarlet Witch as well. Obviously, she wasn't on Wednesday's show.
Yeah,
she's not feeling too good at the moment.
Hopefully, she gets better.
Yes.
A few people got COVID, didn't they, at the weekend? I know Emma and Paul been poorly with it. So
is it still around? I thought it disappeared now. I can't remember.
It's raised its ugly head and bit everyone on the backside quite hard this time, I believe. A lot of people are really poorly with it, but
still haven't had it.
I won't admit this live. I felt really guilty because I would go around coughing, and it's because of the concrete from work. So I felt really guilty.
I've got really bad hay fever and I cough and I, get snotty and sneeze and blah blah blah. But you feel guilty, don't you? Like, oh, sorry, hay fever.
That's why I kept going around all week and going, look, I work with concrete. I'm sorry.
I still haven't had COVID. I feel left out. I don't know why, but I've never had it. It's weird. I've been around people with it. I've literally had people cough in my face who've had it, and I still haven't caught it. It's
you
weird.
may have had it, but just not been symptomatic.
Yeah. Might have done. Well, I was regularly tested like twice a week during it because of what I was doing because I was a key worker. But I've just never had a positive test. I'm like, it's like a pregnancy test that's never come through for me. Do you know what I mean?
You're going to be like, what's going to happen, and you're going to be patient zero of like a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Just still be walking around going, what? Why does no one bite me?
You're like that kid in the school playground, like no one picks you for the football team and PE. Like you're the last one there.
Yeah, I'm the one that nobody likes.
Everyone here loves you, man.
Yeah. Right. So, like, in all, it's been a great show. I know we've got some time left, but I just want to run a quick video for everybody out there that just to let you know the different affiliates we have here on the show and the shows that we've got coming up before we finish the show off. So check this out for us.
Welcome to the Other Dimension Network, exploring the unexplained, in partnership with Embrace the Dark, Paranormal, Science Beyond the Grave, Haunted Museum and Spirit Shop, Stoke. And lock in to our other shows. The Witch's Closet with Scarlet Witch, Divination with Louisa Brown, Occult History and Science with Ben and Lou. Only on the Other Dimension Network.
So there's all our other shows, guys, and all the people that we work with. Links will be underneath the video. I just realised Embrace the Dark. It says as seen on Sky TV. It's like, what? That is legendary. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, that's how we roll here on the Other Dimension.
Damon, the observant.
We've got a lot of people linking up at the minute, which is nice. We'll link you guys up as well, so people can find your pages and keep that going.
Definitely.
We're becoming a very large entity, which is really scary.
That's exciting.
You know what about large entities? Earlier on when I was saying...
Yeah. Remember, it's before 9 o'clock.
What did I say in my head? Tiny little Harvard head. So Sorry, we really struggle to take anything seriously. We just like to laugh. Sorry.
It's the best way. It's the best way.
Yeah, it
Don't
definitely is.
laugh, right?
So, if anyone wants to sort of find you guys and what you're up to, is there a webpage that they can visit?
Yeah, so the website is just up and running, waiting to be up and running at the moment, which is natparauk.co.uk. But best way is Facebook, so National Paranormal Investigators. Or I have a page, Claire Evans Psychic Medium, which has all my workshops and psychic fairs on there.
And I have a page called The Resonant Phoenix on Facebook.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah, had some nice artwork done, haven't you?
I've had some lovely artwork done on a slate.
Shat. No, I'm joking. It was brilliant. Lovely. It was lovely.
So Ben gave me the slate on Saturday or Friday last weekend, and it's absolutely awesome. So it was exactly what I wanted. So yeah, on my page I've got all my events for sound baths and drum circles, and then later in the year, going into next year, got some plans for doing an actual workshop. So that encompasses energy work, but including the sound and looking at things, how people can understand themselves a bit more on the physical, mental, emotional and spiritual level across the board.
Cool. Sounds awesome. Sounds like I feel like I'm being into something that's going to create spiritual oneness.
Absolutely.
We had that conversation the other day, didn't we? What were we talking about?
I have
sound,
no idea.
How sound just brings
so much.
Yes. We're like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. We're like, what's time? Oh my god, it's 5 in the morning. He's out of bed. Yeah, we were talking. There was something on the telly, and it was that voice, that boy, Britain's Got Talent, that kid. What's his name? Malachi. And I said he sounds like an angel, and actually at one point it sounded like there was people singing with him.
Yeah.
And you said,
yeah, I know the guy. Yeah.
Maybe he's been sent to spread love and raise awareness and connect everyone through his voice. And I was like, oh, that's mad. Maybe he is an angel. But we did have a few wines and beers at the time, hadn't we?
But specifically just on the sound element. Very, very passionate about energy work, but also a bit biased towards the sound energy.
That was sent.
The surfing he was doing ended up, like we said at the weekend, it ended up connecting to the actual pulsations of the planet. So
yeah,
it was wicked, because when I was sat on that wall you could hear the echo through the valley. It sounded amazing. It was really good.
I still believe there's only one person with the voice of an angel that was sent down here to spread peace and love, and that was Freddie Mercury. But anyway,
Barry Manilow.
Not that.
She's got that song stuck in her head all night now.
Tuesday we had Circle, and in the car on the way over, it was Barry Manilow on the radio.
Yeah.
With Mandy, and it was an earworm
Not
for
in
the
my
rest
car.
of the night. It was on the radio station, and then I just got rid of it towards the end of Circle, and one of the people in Circle said, "Oh, have you got rid of that song yet?" Which kind of like just puts it back in your head.
It does.
Like, seriously, you don't even have to mention it.
Is it back in your head?
No.
I'll have to work on that. I don't know the words. That's the problem. I know that bit.
Yeah, I think the majority of the population just know that one bit.
Yeah, true.
Right, we keep winding up. I keep winding up my stepdaughter as well as Lou keeps winding up her daughter, because one of her friends is called Alice, and every time she comes up to us, she goes, "Have you seen Alice?" And we just go, "Yeah, my friend Alice."
Who? Oh dear.
So, guys and girls, if you do want to go and experience all the things that have been mentioned by Claire and Titch, make sure you head over to the websites. They'll be underneath the webpage and under the video for you guys to check out. Lou's going to do that after the show because that's what she does.
Thanks, I should go for that, but yeah, I'll do that first then.
Is there anything?
Oh, Ben.
You just cut out there, Damon.
Did I cut out? Sorry. Is there anything you guys want to add before we cut the show off? to go into
No,
last?
other than thank you very much for having us on the show. It seems to have gone really, really quickly. So I'll look forward to another time where we come on and chat. And also looking forward to seeing you again very soon.
Yeah.
So I second that. Thank you so much. You guys can't do Shrewsbury, can you?
No.
8th of July.
No.
I could do Shrewsbury.
Oh, come to Shrewsbury, Damon.
Damon, come to Shrewsbury.
Oh, I'll do that, yeah.
Oh, I've got Jamaica in. I think I've got one space left for Jamaica in as well. So
I'll contact you after the show anyway, because I'm around in July anyway.
All right, brilliant. Yeah, let me know, Damon. That'd be cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I will do. Definitely. Ooh, I've got an invite.
Hey!
Oh, thank you so much for having us, guys. I really appreciate it.
Justin stole me for an event as well.
Yeah, I'm staying at home with the puppies and the child because we can't get a sitter. So last time Ben went out on an investigation and I stayed at home, I ended up buying a puppy. So we'll see what happens this time.
No word of a lie, guys. I went to Smedic Baths.
We have been talking about having the possibility that we might be getting this puppy anyway. So it wasn't like a complete surprise and just go out and just do it.
No.
He already knew there's a possibility of this rescue pup.
No, she didn't go out and just randomly do it. She snuck out whilst I was asleep and then woke me up at 9 o'clock holding a puppy.
Yes! Skills!
Love it. So you couldn't say no.
Absolutely.
Is Smedic that closing? Did someone tell me it was closing at the weekend?
Smedic Baths is closing soon, yes.
Yeah, we're on the last one.
We are on the very last one.
Is that tomorrow?
16th of June.
Oh, the 16th. Because I can't remember. I feel really bad. There was a guy there called Martin. He's there tomorrow night. Is it not United Paranormal? That's Justin. UK Paranormal? No. Can't remember.
There's a lot more events going on there, but we are on the very, very last one because we will be shutting down with Andy.
Do you know why they're closing it down?
It's reached the end of its limit.
They're building a new one, aren't they? So
yeah, they have a new one in Birmingham that they're building. So that one is going to be dropped.
Oh, okay. It's a shame. Never got a chance to go.
It's a lovely place, lots of history, but unfortunately, as we found out with a lot of places nowadays, they're all shutting down and being turned into flats.
Or strip bars.
It's a shame.
Strip bars.
What's you thinking there, Damon?
Normal, isn't it? I'm
fucking normal, isn't it?
I can say
Walter still pretty what I don't really.
Shed.
I was very good. I'd stop myself. Yeah. I was going to say, show us your buns. What?
Right, so we've come to the end of the show. I want to thank the ladies for coming on tonight. It's been an absolutely amazing conversation. Really, 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 really enjoyed it. Don't forget, I think the guys are out investigating tomorrow night. Lou, are you and Jenna out investigating tomorrow night?
Yeah, we're hooking up with another team, the Nottinghamshire Paranormal Society. So we'll go out with them, we're going to a location, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And that'll be live on the page tomorrow night, so make sure you keep it locked for that. And also, don't forget, you've got Sunday's Occult and Science show, where Ben has said he might be showing you some sigil making.
Next week. This week, it is Kate giving me the full interrogation that everyone has been after. Kate is going to be bombarding me with questions on everything. So this will be the first time I've ever been in live.
The spotlight.
Honestly, Claire, it's the most nerve-wracking thing. I went first with Kate, and she asked me random questions like, am I a chav and why do I dress the way I do? It's like, it's like crazy.
She has told me she is going full bore and taking questions off everyone else wanting to know details of me personally, my teachings, how I've come across everything and that lot. So I would say it's not one to be missed, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people on there just to see how uncomfortable I get.
Is it free watershed?
It isn't, but we don't really care on the Sunday show.
Sundays are different.
So I was just thinking the sort of questions that I would like to ask you. I'm thinking they are definitely post-watershed kind of questions.
I was going to say, are you doing
I'm thinking, like, because we think of like devils and sex parties and things like that, don't you?
What?
I do.
I never got invited to these when I was studying. Please, I want to know where these were.
It's when Claire starts mentioning stuff like pepperami and strip bars. That's when you want to start panicking.
Pepperami, I would have an issue with a pepperami. I'll tell you that right.
Me, I love a pepperami. Only youngsters will get reference to that one, by the way.
Can we do at some point a post watershed show?
Yeah.
100%.
That would be
You
like,
did
giggles.
We
Yeah.
did one with Wednesbury, and it just went terrible.
Unfortunately, anywhere I go, it tends to get quite smutty very quickly. I've got a mouth like a builder. That's because my dad was a builder. But Kirsty and I do a show called Shits and Giggles. We've only done one, and we need to get another date
We
in.
do.
And that we do talk seriously, but then obviously we go way off track quite often, and it gets a bit silly, and we have a laugh. But that's just what we do.
Last time me and Ben decided to do a post watershed show where we just sort of let things rip, we actually got a week's ban.
What, on Facebook?
Yeah.
Really? What? So how does that happen? Do people report you then? Because surely not. There's not some really sad old Mac guy in an office watching everybody's Facebook lives and going block.
We were taking some serious swings at the church.
Oh yeah.
Serious swings at the church.
So what
I
you're
went
saying
full
is,
bore on history on the church.
yeah. So you kind of set the bar, haven't you?
Yeah.
The bar doesn't exist anymore. It's in two halves, like further down the cliff.
Yeah.
So, right, we've come to the end of the show, guys. Don't forget to look into the shows coming up. Once again, thanks to the ladies for coming on tonight. It's been absolutely can't wait to have you on again. Don't forget open door policy. Whenever you guys want to come on, hit us up. We'll have you on the show. It's great.
Yep. Appreciate
that. From us here at The Other Dimension, thank you once again for listening. It's bye from me and bye from Ben and Lou.
Bye from her.
And bye from
her.
See you guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Just remember, guys, there is always the other dimension.